and welcome to another episode of Java with Jim. I trust you are doing well. I am Jim Phillips, life strategist, author of The Key to Life Living in Full Expression. I really appreciate you giving me these few minutes every week or so to share some of the information that I've been given in my life, some of my experiences, I should say. And as I've mentioned so many times, a lot of what I speak about is because of an experience, but it's also because of a theme that comes to my awareness that I feel needs to be addressed. And I will say that first and foremost, when I get these themes that come to my awareness, it is first and foremost for me to be able to gain from it what I can gain from it. And then if what I gain from it and what I feel and what I see and what I experience is something that I feel would benefit others, then it becomes a part of a video like Java with Jim or in writing that I do. And it happened this week, as it often does. And the theme that came up this week is joy. And I found an article that I wrote, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago that I wrote it. And the title of the article is Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. Now, those of you who are baby boomers, or maybe some who pay attention to the classic rock and roll, you know that that was a song by Three Dog Night. And it has a catchy tune. And probably now that I mentioned it, those of you who are familiar with the tune, you're probably going to be thinking about it. So Jeremiah was a bullfrog. So what does that have to do with joy, which is the theme that I received this week? Well, part of the song is Joy to the World. That's the refrain. And when I think about joy, it is something that I have been told many times when I'm going through a challenging or difficult experience. When I connect with my mentor, who I've been working with for quite some time, one of the suggestions that I'm always given is that I need to allow more joy into my life. Now, the key word there is allow, and that means that it's always there. It's me that is blocking it through my thoughts, my beliefs, my experiences, whatever I might be going through. It could be excessive stress that is preventing me from allowing the experience of joy. But I want to talk about joy in terms of what it is in relation to who we are. And I think that during these times we are going through right now, individually and collectively, there is such a lack of joy in so many areas of life. And of course, what we tend to do when we are confronted with difficult situations is we tend to push back against those difficult situations. There's a lot of hate in the world right now, unfortunately. And we tend to push against that by saying that we want to reduce the amount of hate. We want to reduce the amount of bigotry. We want to reduce the amount of prejudice that's in the world. All of these things, and we tend to push against it by working to reduce it. And I think what most of us know that are spiritual in nature, and we're all spiritual in nature, but I mean in terms of the work that we do and how we think and how we believe and how we try to live our lives, we know that pressing against something doesn't remove it. In fact, more often than not, it adds energy to it, and it increases the intensity of whatever it is that we're trying to avoid or to reduce. So what is required of us is that we work towards or for what it is that we want and not against what it is we do not want. So even though there is this hatred and this fear and this prejudice and all these things going on in the world right now, joy is one of those things that we absolutely need to allow more of, and it's always available to us. So my point with this is that we can reduce all of these things that we are not for, that we don't want to experience, that unfortunately have become too much a part of daily life, that if we start to work more towards joy, and joy is, as a definition I have in this article that I wrote, joy in its truest form is the experience and expression of love. And so the more that we have that experience and expression of love through this joy, then we're going to see the other things be reduced because we have a different attitude, we have a different mindset, we have a different experience of life, we have a different experience of ourselves with regard to other people. And I think that's key. So I want to share with you some of the aspects of this article. Again, it was written, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, might even a little bit longer than that. And I want to start with what I wrote in this article was that there are some characteristics that I believe are attributable to joy. And I'm going to read what I wrote so that I don't miss any of this information. There are, let me see, how many characteristics do I have? There's 3 characteristics, and then I have 4 different ways that we can create and allow the experience and expression of joy. So here's the characteristics. Characteristic number 1 is joy resides in you as an expression of you at your core. It's not dependent upon any act or event, although an experience can certainly elicit joy, even if it's just a simple smile. Joy awaits your expression. Characteristic number 2, joy is an expression of love. As I said a few minutes ago, joy in its truest form is the experience and expression of love. So characteristic number 2 again, joy is an expression of love and therefore omnipresent. Joy exists whether we are conscious of it or not. It doesn't eliminate sorrow, grief, sadness, or pain, for these are all integral to the human experience. However, it is the experience of God's grace while moving through difficult times. Joy can be experienced and expressed in the face of adversity through the knowing that we are loved beyond measure. Characteristic number 3, joy begets joy. When joy is what you express, joy is what you experience. When you are being joyful, you elicit the experience and expression of joy in others. When others are experiencing and expressing their joy, this in turn elicits the expression and experience of joy in you, all of which is sent out into the world. And this really gets to the point of what I was saying, that the more we experience and express joy, the world changes. Our experience of the world changes. Our experience of ourselves within the context of everything we experience in our individual life and then the collective life changes, and it all changes for the good. And it diminishes the fear, the hate, the prejudice, all the things that we say that we are working towards eliminating from our life experience. So here's the question. How do we create, and I'm going to use the word create, but also want to throw the word allow in there because that was what I was talking about before. So how do we create and allow the experience and expression of joy? So here's some of the suggestions that I have. Do more of what elicits the experience of joy in you and less of what doesn't. Now, I know this sounds simplistic. However, each one of us has authority over our choices and can choose to remain in certain environments or not. And if it's not practical to leave a specific environment, then it is our choice to engage in the environment with joy and enthusiasm. This doesn't mean you're going to like the environment any more than before. It just becomes more enjoyable. You approach it, you work it, you do it, you whatever it is that you feel you cannot step away from, you do it with joy, with as much joy as you possibly can, because that is the true experience and expression of who you are. Joy then becomes our approach and therefore our experience of everything in life. Number 2, create and look for opportunities that allow for the experience and expression of joy. What do you like to do? What are you good at? What activities in which you become engaged cause you to lose all sense of time and self? For what are you most passionate? Consciously look for and participate in these activities, remembering that it is not the activity itself that is the source of joy, it is you. Number 3, live in full expression of who you truly are. This to me is our purpose in living, to joyfully explore, experience, and express ourselves in as many ways as possible, and in so doing, we extend joy and love into the world. It's also to understand and absolutely know that life provides everything we need when it is most needed to live in full expression. Now, seriously, what could be more joyful than that? And then the last of these suggestions, number 4, be the experience of what you desire to see in the world. If more joy is what you believe would serve this world, then be joyful in who you are and all that you do. I hope you find some benefit in this. I hope that what I have just shared causes you to take a look at joy in your own life. Are you experiencing joy to the extent that you would like? Excuse me. Are you allowing joy into your life, especially during those difficult times? And this doesn't mean that you dance around happy and you're not not allowing the other emotions that we have, like grief and pain and sorrow and all of those emotions that we have, that you're not allowing that to be your experience. We have to do that. That's why we're here. That's a big part of why we're here. But the joy is what allows us to go through those experiences with grace. Look at your life. Look at how you are participating in the world. Look how you're engaging with other people. Are you joyful in everything that you do? What can you do to allow more joy into your everyday life experience? What can you do to allow yourself to be more the experience and expression of joy, so that you elicit joy in other people? I hope you find some benefit from this video. If you have any questions, you want to leave any comments, please do so wherever you watch this video. I appreciate you taking the time to be with me. If you like this video and think others might benefit as well, please share it. I would appreciate that. I always look forward to these times together. I appreciate you. Take care and be well. Until next time. Bye now.